All right, everybody, it's your boy Genius out at the range, Glock 45 Koa. Never would I have believed that the Ramjet video that I put up, the Radian Ramjet afterburner, and the issues that I was having with it would have caused such controversy, but it did, okay? So everyone kept saying, you need a 15-pound spring, you need a 15-pound spring. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, if it needs a 15-pound spring for $400, why don't they include a spring? And then, it's very convenient that they offer a tunable spring on their website, but nowhere is it front and center, if you will, in their literature. As in, you don't pick up their literature and immediately see, advertisement, warning, caution, nothing. And in fact, if you Google it, it suggests that it can run your 115, it can run your range ammunition, and you can use your factory recoil spring. But in the case that it doesn't work for you or it malfunctions, okay, you may need a lighter spring. You may need to use 124 grain ammunition. It's just crazy to me, right? If you call, I've had people comment in the comment section say theirs done the same thing and that they contacted them. And of course, instead of saying, well, maybe we got one that's out of spec, for as many people that said that theirs ran fine with the factory spring, people say, well, instead of admitting that maybe one of them's out of spec, or maybe they should be including a spring, they just tell you that it's your fault. Essentially, you need another spring, you need a different spring. Hey, we got a tunable spring available. It's kind of like people that go, I've heard people say they went to the doctor, they get a medication for something, and then they have these just like crazy abnormal side effects. They go to the doctors like, I can't take this medication. What's the solution here? Well, the solution is, rather than stopping the medication, blaming the medication, they give you another medication to counteract the side effects of that one. That's the solution. Not to admit that maybe you didn't get it right, Well, for me, my experience has been that it has not functioned reliably for me. That's my experience. It does matter to me what your experience is, and I would never discredit your experience if that's your experience. It is what it is, but that wasn't my experience. And I'm just trying to be honest out here. And I can't believe the number of people that got so butthurt. Come on, let's be civil, people. I'm trying to have a channel here where I can spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, invite you to know him as your Savior. Take care of that today. Today is a day of salvation. My experience was not the same as a lot of yours was. And rather than being critical and calling me a liar and, getting angry with me because I said it was junk, you know what? It was junk. For me, it was junk. For you, it was awesome, but for me, it was junk. So I got the 15-pound spring, okay? Going to see if that makes a difference. Going to see if that runs reliably. What I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to, and for the person that said, oh, did you hear that magazine rattling about the 425 mark of the video? Maybe he should clean his mag. It's perplexing to me, the amount of excuses that people will make to defend a product that they overpaid for. It's perplexing to me. I don't understand it. It's crazy. Like, even if it malfunctions some, they'll deny it because you can't prove otherwise because they don't have a video. So do your own channel and put up your own video and prove what you're saying is true, because what I have found is people grossly exaggerate how reliable their guns are, and they grossly exaggerate the round count on their guns. Grossly. There's no question they're exaggerating. Okay, but I'm going to run this P-Mag that I literally opened up when I started the series of these videos with the Ramjet. So it's basically a brand new magazine. It's been used about 4 or 5 times. And so it doesn't need to be clean. There's nothing wrong with the mag. I'm going to show you that by running it through this Glock Koa stock, just like it is. I'll put up a picture of the target, and then I'm going to shut the camera off, put the Ramjet in there, and just shoot it with the factory spring with the same ammunition, which is, by the way, 124 grain MagTech, and see if it has any issues. And no, that's not true. This is actually Blazer brass. And see if it has any issues, because again, don't tell me Blazer brass got the warning, don't shoot it through the comp, but you don't know how many people told me that they shot Blazer brass through there with no issues at all. So that's what I'm going to put through it. and then I'll put some mag tech. We'll take a picture of the accuracy and see if the 15-pound spring helps. Shooting pretty fast. I'll take a picture of the target, 15 yards here. Again, shooting pretty fast because I want to get through this video. But let's shut it off, put the Ramjet in there, and do the same thing. All right, got the Radian put on. Got my torque screwdriver out here for all the naysayers, 15 inch pounds, just like it calls for. Got it torqued on there. Same 21 round PMag. I believe it's 21 rounds. Yep, 21 round PMag. Okay, same ammunition, blazer brass, 115, or I'm sorry, 124. And again, please don't light the comment section up with, you can't run that, it says it right on the box. You know, I'm not illiterate, I can read, I know what it says, all right? But for all the people that told me, I literally ran everything, I got 5,642 rounds through my Ramjet, I ain't never had a problem. Blazer brass, what? Well, I'm running some blazer brass through there. You hear me? It's my Ramjet. I'll do what I want. Anyway, here we go. Hopefully won't have any issues. Still has a light coating of oil on there. Hopefully it'll do fine. Maybe it just needed a break in. Maybe I won't have to put the spring, the 15-pound spring in there, but that hasn't been my experience so far. The only thing it ran without issue was all of the high dollar jacketed hollow points. So let's see what we got here, folks. Hopefully I don't limp wrist it on purpose because of my sissy hands. Man, I tell you what, you got to have some thick skin and a sense of humor to put up with the idiots in the comment section. Well, what do you know? Factory recoil spring, 21 rounds, blazer brass, not an issue. Now, with that being said, I shot probably faster with the stock barrel, okay? And as you'll see from the picture, not nearly as accurate. So again, I still maintain that for me anyway, again, just my experience, that for me, it does not shoot any more accurately. And I mean, the difference in muzzle rise for me anyway is minimal. I like the gun as it was stock, okay? So I'm gonna put some 115 in here because that is probably what gave me the most problems. But again, everyone in the comment section, I'll put 115 through it. Heck, I even put some 100 grain through there. Okay, so I'm gonna put the 115 in there and see how it does with that. If it gives me any issues with that, I'll put the 15-pound spring in there and see if it'll run the 115 with the 15-pound spring. Maybe it needed a break-in period. I'm happy that it ran, okay? But it's gonna have to do a whole lot more of that before I trust this thing, so let's do that. All right, I got the 115 grain loaded up in here, blazer brass. Again, stuff people in the comment section said they ran. I know it seems like I'm angry. I'm really not. I'm just frustrated when I'm trying my best to not be a shield, to not be a mouthpiece for these companies that overly market themselves and charge you a premium price for that marketing, okay? And if it doesn't perform flawlessly, now if it performs, okay, you want to spend $400 and it performs, that's your prerogative, okay? But I'm not a mouthpiece for them, and it's frustrating when you give an honest, fair comparison of your experience. My experience is not your experience. Your experience is not my experience. Everyone's is different. There could have been a lemon, should I say, could have been some tolerance issues or something. May have to send it back if it continues to malfunction. I don't know. I'm just saying my experience has not been the same as a lot of you guys. And also I had a lot of people in the comment section say they had the same experience. So we got the 115 loaded up here. Again, I'm only shooting this because, you know, Radian suggests that you should be able to. And a lot of people in the comment section said indeed they did. So, you know, don't beat me over the head about running one. You should run 124, boy, some plus P. cracking myself up. Okay, so let me tell you something here. Whether you believe it or not, and I forgot, I just realized I forgot to take a picture of that target before I shot it again, so you don't get to see that it wasn't as accurate. That one was a little tighter than the last one was with the 115 in there, so I don't know if there's something to that. But I'm happy that the thing is running, okay? I didn't come out here today with the intention of continuing to stir the pot that I didn't know I was stirring. I thought I was just being honest, giving people a fair assessment, okay? I didn't come out here today with the intention of stirring the pot, because if I did, I could have made this thing malfunction somehow. I don't know how, but I could have. I could have figured it out. Okay, that's not what I want to do. So what I have shown is that it's ran 115. I've shown that it has ran 124. Both blazer brass, probably shouldn't, but I'm just going to run some more. I'm going to run some mag tech through there. 124 and 115, 2 mags of that, see how it does. Hey, you know, there were people that said, I ran my factory spring, it's been completely flawless, okay? It might just have a break-in period. I know one guy said something about the chamber support was off from the factory barrel and that it didn't fully seat, and that was causing problems in his, and after so many rounds it straightened out. That's unacceptable, but if that's true, then maybe that's what happened to mine. He was having some failures to eject. Well, that's what was happening to mine. Some of them were failures to eject. Some of them were stovepipes. Some of them were just failures to fully go back into battery. Okay, those were the issues that I were having with it. And then again, I didn't really notice that much reduction in recoil or mitigation of recoil. My wife said it did for her, but again, everybody's different. And I didn't discredit her either. I put that all on there, knowing that the people would come out and say, oh, his wife shot better with it than he did. You know, he's a little sissy. Knowing all of that would happen, I still put that up. You know why? Because we're honest here at G Squared Tactical, and we're going to be honest. I don't care if someone sends me this, they better know. They better know I'm telling the truth, okay? Just like I'm telling the truth about how it's running now, and I hope it continues, because I spent $400 of my own hard-earned money. So let's put 2 more magazines through here. I'm going to get a Glock 17 mag, or the magazine that came with this gun, and I'm going to use it as well. See if maybe something was up with one of the magazines. I don't know, but I'm happy it's running. So let's do that and we'll wrap the video up. All right, so I got the Glock mags that came with the gun, 2 of them. Got them both loaded up. The first mag is 124. This is 115 MagTech. So what I'm going to do right here, since it seems to be running, is I'm going to try to slow down, give a little bit more fair assessment as to whether or not it mitigates recoil. I don't think so. I've always thought that, but I always shot well with the 19X and the 45 of the Glocks. Really the only 2 Glocks I've ever really liked. So again, 124 factory mags, MagTech, see how it goes. I mean, I am genuinely happy about that, okay? And also, I just don't know. I mean, yes, I was accurate with it, sure. But so I was just as accurate with the factory barrel. So we'll address that here in just a second. Let me put these 115 through there with the factory magazine and see what happens. So I am extremely happy about that, okay? You may not be able to tell, but I'm thinking that it had nothing to do with a recoil spring, needing a different recoil spring. I think some of the folks that said theirs has ran, and again, I never discredited their experience. Glad yours has been awesome, okay? I think they were right. you know, that it did run with their factory spring because the factory spring is in here, and I'm not going to change the spring because it seems to be no need to. So maybe it was a break-in thing with mine. I don't know. Maybe there was something going on with the chamber. It hasn't went through more than 20 rounds without an issue, and that was with jacketed hollow point. With standard range ammunition, it hasn't went through, I don't think, a single magazine without an issue up until this point. So am I happy about that? Sure, I spent $400 on this. Of course I'm happy about it. So maybe it was a break-in thing with mine. I don't know. So with that being said, Gene, would you still buy it? No, I would not. Why? Because that's always going to be in the back of my mind that it malfunctioned on me right out of the box, having done everything right, having used the correct ammunition it called for, staying away from the blazer brass, using the unplated ammunition, 124, oiling it just like it said, torquing it to 15-inch pounds. I did everything right, and it malfunctioned a lot, okay? So that's always going to be in the back of my mind. But at the same time, it was never going to be something I carried on the gun because I don't carry guns with comps on them, especially ones that are added. You know, if it's integrated into it from the factory, maybe. Even then, I probably wouldn't. But I like the Glock 45 Koa just the way it is. I'm just as good with it. And you can go back and watch the videos on this, the review. I mean, there's seven, probably 4 or 5 of them up. Go back and watch them. You'll see how good I was and how accurate and superb I was with this gun. And I'm no better with the Radian on there. So I personally would have saved my $400. But Gene, why did you buy it? Well, because a lot of people talk about it, and I do reviews, and I wanted to give my honest assessment of it. I did not know that my honest assessment would be starting out first 200 rounds or so just being completely unreliable. I will continue to shoot this and see if that changes, but I got to wrap up this video. You know the platforms you can support us on. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and as always, to God only be the glory.